Welcome, 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 everybody. Anthony here with the Bulbaritos, bringing you a brand new live stream. And Burrito Gang, we have a treat for y'all today. My mic is saggy. Oh, shit. Whoop, whoop. And we have a treat for y'all today. We are going to be doing our Ark Planners Summit for Season 2. Have some tremendous guests for y'all today. We have a lot of conversation that's going to be happening. And yeah, I hope y'all are as excited as I am. There's lots of topics to talk about, lots of things that just were revealed within the last couple of days. And it's going to be a doozy. So I hope y'all are as excited as I am. We're going to try to keep it rocking and rolling today. You already see Skywalker out here in the chat. Appreciate it. Share the link out with your friends. Welcome, everybody. If you do have questions that you would like us to answer, I put it in one of my comments. Just put Q and then your kind of, what is it, semicolon, right? Semicolon, and then ask your question, and then I will address them, assuming that they're not sus potato questions. You know what I'm saying? So we got a lot to get over and a lot to chat about today. So I don't want to waste too much time. I appreciate all the love that y'all been sharing the channel. Hopefully y'all are enjoying the content. And I would like to welcome everybody. to the Ark Planners Summit Season 2, baby. All right, let's flip over real quick. That way we can bring everybody in. Y'all already know per the title. I think our boy Wick might have fell asleep. I'm just kidding. I don't know if he fell asleep or not. But hopefully he'll hop on in a little bit. And then we'll get it rocking and rolling. But until then, we got a ton of knowledgeable people in here. We got Sinneth, we got Anubis, we got Skywalker, we got a brand new guest, Paulinaaa. And I'm gonna flip screens real quick, and then we will chalk it up. We're gonna start rocking and rolling. All right, give me 1 second. Let me go to full in game. We got that. Let me undeafen them real quick. And if we see Wick pop in a community chat, then I will drag him in here. All right. Let me see. Where's the undeafen? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, bub.
How's it going? All right. Y'all can see everybody's beautiful, beautiful cams in here. So give me 1 second. Let me fire up some music, and then we will get rocking and rolling. Man, everybody's on vacation, having a ball in the snow, and poor old Bulba out here. Little sus potato, just doing some Ark Planners Summit. Apologies for that. There we go. Lower music. Boom, boom, pow. All right. You love your comment. Thank you, Deme. I appreciate it. Make sure y'all send some love. Here, let me see. Give me 1 second before we kick it off. I do want to drop, because Skywalker is a fellow content creator. Absolutely love him. Don't let him know I said that, because he'll get a big ass head. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna drop his link. Go, guys. He is what, 185 subs away. 185, baby, until we hit the 1K. Let's get him there. Let's get him there. You're almost there, boys. There you go. Go drop him a sub. Y'all already know, if you love Rise of Kingdoms content, he's in Kingdom 1916 and 307, and he may be in other kingdoms as well, because he's a hoss like that.
No, that's it for right now.
For right now, I like it.
I am trying to sim there's 916 accounts.
Then we have Anubis from 1365, one of the BLN guys. Y'all already know he's been here a couple of shows already. And we have Miss Paulinaaa joining us. She's a Ark planner with her husband, who's whipping up something delicious and nutritious, hopefully. And we have Sinneth from Lost. Y'all already know, Kingdom 1903. And hopefully Wick will hop in here in a little bit. And since I can't read Discord. And yeah, hopefully y'all are as excited as I am. We're going to start off hot. All right. First, hot takes, because a lot of people are already kind of bringing it up. And I know we're seeing screenshots for it. Man, the museum strikes again. And we... now, keep in mind, we are talking exclusively Osiris League and Ark and all that kind of stuff, guys. All right. So we won't even dive into the effects into KVK itself. But Anubis was kind of explaining, hey, you know what? I'll kind of let Anubis run with this where he was telling us about the couple of hidden gems in pre-KVK right now.
Yeah, so I'll give a little shout out to the kingdoms in my KVK. We got 254, 556, and 875, as well as me and 365. When our training day popped at reset, there were enough of the relic coins to unlock the commanders, and you could get 4 commanders unlocked as long as you did your training goal for that daily training list. So for those kingdoms who don't have that KVK pop yet, got to get ready for it, because you're going to be seeing quite a few teams out there that have got that extra advantage of the potential for 4 more commanders to be relicked and used if need be.
And that, I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but I know that we've seen, for those of y'all who've been on the channel long enough, you already know, y'all already know that we've seen strategic changes already occurring from some of our bigger teams, 1V, from OV, from, some of our bigger teams that are out there that are now starting to do like different breakoffs. I know we saw 1V running a bunch of CCs off the breakoff just to get more troops forward and that kind of stuff. And it's going to change. You're going to have teams that might be running into KVK. They're going to now have 8 museum commanders as opposed to the 4, which I guess technically, so in kind of my opinion, we'll kind of go through everybody. My opinion on the thing is, most of the players, and this is kind of the way I feel about it, most of the players that are probably in top 16 aren't your free to play. Now, there are other realms as well, and that's kind of where I feel like it might affect a little bit more. I feel like in Horus, most of the teams that are big boy teams that have made it are those players that spend an assload of money in the game itself. So they probably already have so many. If they wanted to, they could just buy all those bundles, unlock them if they wanted to, and not have to wait for it. But for those teams in Bastet and Anubis that maybe didn't have that, it gives them a little leg up. And you know what I mean? And Anubis maybe is probably like 50-50. And Bastet, I would say, probably helps them a whole lot more. So that's kind of just my gist on that one. So let's start with, I know we heard from Anubis. Let's hear from Sky. What do you think, brother?
For being able to have more of these museum commanders, I don't think it's gonna make a difference.
Okay.
Honestly, not because in the realms that they're able to use them, like I mean, just like you were stating, the realm of Bastet and but either way, Bastet, they're still all big teams, so it's all spenders. It's still all spenders in these top teams. So none of them are going to be lacking the museum commanders either way. Whether they go into MG or not, I guarantee they're all buying that daily bundle.
All right. Miss Paulinaaa.
They're going to have the ones they want.
Miss Paulinaaa, are you there? I know. So the good part about this, guys, is that I was able to grab planners and strategists from all the realms this season. So that's kind of what's exciting about this one. What are your thoughts, Miss Paulinaaa?
So my kingdom is currently between KVK 2 and 3, which means that this is not really our concern yet. I guess before we reach Season of Conquest, there might be already some changes coming to the system.
Okay.
We are at the moment observing.
Okay.
To see how it will affect us in the future. However, the team we are organizing the Ark for has majority of low spenders. So we will definitely need to pick up who works on what very, very carefully.
Okay. So there's a little strategy added in there. I like that. Okay. All right. Let's dive into Sinneth. I almost forgot, my brother. Sorry. Sinneth, what's your I would never forget you, bro.
Even Sinneth,
the current team doesn't really matter that much anymore because the most teams already have all commanders they need unlocked or app-leads museum buffs. Majority of players will have at least 4 to 5 museum buffs app-lead. But I think when they implemented museum, it was like 3 days or something where only a small amount of kingdoms had the chance to test commanders, that actually had impact on League, because teams could test commanders for like a few more days in that week. And they also had like 2 or 3 days more to buy bundles, to grind the credits, to get the quests and stuff like this. I think that shouldn't have happened, but the current update isn't a big deal in my opinion.
All right. Well, that dives. Now that you bring up update, we're gonna we got to talk about the big ass elephant in the room when it comes to commanders. We have Sir Nevsky, Alexander Nevsky, coming in. And I know that we're seeing some nutty reports. And I mean, I've seen some insane ones. I've seen some ones that just don't make any sense. You know, they're introducing him. At least, I will say this, at least it didn't happen for the prior seasons where it came out in order to lock top 32 or in order to lock top 16. Like, it didn't come at that crucial point. It at least is coming in top 16 and you've kind of already solidified your part. But what do y'all think is going to be the, do y'all think Nevsky is going to play a huge role in change of strategy? Do y'all feel like, you know, what do you really feel like the effect of a brand new commander like Nevsky is going to bring to the Osiris League top 16? So let's go ahead and start with Skywalker on this one.
Dude, so the main problem you're going to have with Nevsky, it's the same as Mina get the museum buff, right? XY Mina is the best rally for Ark right now if you're able to hold the field, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be the same with any cav pairing. Nevsky's there, like he's going to be the rally pair to beat, but he's going to also be able to be swarmed. So if you're not able to push up the field, then you're not going to really take a structure with it. I don't feel like he's still very swarmable. It's a cav pair. So I mean, I don't think he really changed the meta for Osiris League too much.
Gotcha.
But he's going to be used, obviously. I mean, he's good. He's very good. He's crushing it.
No, I'm going to go with Paulinaaa because now that she's in between 2 and 3, it's more, it's not going to affect her for sure.
Well, I mean, we are saving the heads at the moment and watching all the reports. The time will show, so I'm happy you are going to test him for us first.
See, and I like that answer. There you go. All right, Sinneth, what do you think, brother? What do you think it's going to do?
I think we're going to see a lot of them into the next matches, like as a rally for sure. But I also think we will have a bunch of them on the open field because they are like very fast. They got like 20% movement speed. I think a majority of the teams will use them to like come faster to the middle, to swarm buildings and whatever. He's there for sure. I also think he will replace Mina in the meta rallies.
Okay. Anubis coming in hot. I know you got a hot take on this one.
Yeah, I do think we're about to see a major meta shift. And the main reason for that is from the testing that I've been a part of. Mm-hmm. It does allow for swarms to be more effective than most people are expecting. So I have a feeling we're about to see these teams that have already come into top 16 being the top Ark fighting teams in the mid. I think they're about to improve more than those teams who were already good at the structure game. Because if you're already taking down the buildings prior to Nevsky specifically being made for building swarms, then you add that to it, and the structure game is just going to be staying dominant for you. But if you were, say, a middling structure team, but you're a dominant team in the middle, well, now your structure game can take that extra step up, and now everybody else is just having to catch up to you in the mid. And I think those teams are the ones that are going to have an easier time in top 16, top 8, before everybody really solidifies how they want to use him specifically.
See, and I kind of agree with you on that. I think where this is going to play a huge role. See, a lot of people are talking about structures, right? And that I can understand because that's part of the facet. I think this is going to completely wreck middle. And when I mean that, so I'm focusing on a whole other aspect of it. I think middle is that meta shift is about to come in. You're going to see, different combos, Chandra, Nevsky. You're going to see, Nevsky primary. And I promise you that these Ark planners have been testing and testing and testing weird, different combos. So pay attention, because we are going to be, streaming some of those, casting some of those, all that. And you're going to see a big shift. I think, especially with the speed from Cav, bringing more speed into the game, more Cav marches, more, and just the nuke that he's going to bring in middle, you add to the death. You start adding skills onto that, and it's going to get absolutely nutty, especially with XYs. And I've seen people running combos with Chandra, Nevsky, and so you're bringing in, you already have an OP XY. Then you're going to bring in, some Nevskys with Chandras for additional, it's just, I can't even think about it. I'm excited to see what some of these Ark Planners are going to be doing, especially this week, because these combos are going to get absolutely filthy in the middle. We already saw last week people getting pillow fights with Ethels, getting swarming struck, and I was just mind blown how many Ethels we saw in some of these matches. So I can already imagine Nevsky's going to be absolutely nutty. So we are definitely going to keep our eyes on that, because I really do think that it's going to be quite a drastic shift. I think a lot of people are sleeping on how drastic it is, but we do have some top-notch matches where people just can't reserve anymore. You got OV versus Song this week. There's no holding back. It's win or go home week, so that you're going to see some unique stuff, and I promise you they've been testing. You're going to see some JST stuff. I promise you're going to see it from a lot of the big teams that they're going to switch up their insides, especially in mid lane. All right. Let's get into the nitty gritty of the Osiris League. This is where I allow our guests to kind of give their opinion on certain states of the Osiris League, likes, dislikes, all that kind of stuff. And we'll start with the likes, kind of what they've enjoyed the most from Osiris League this season. And then we will end off with the, we're not going to end off with it, but then we'll follow up questions afterwards with what they want to see changed. Because I promise you, I got a lot of stuff to get off my chesties about what I want to see changed. But first, we're going to start off with the kinds of things that you enjoyed from this season, or you liked that they adjusted, or anything like that. We'll go ahead and start off with Miss Paulinaaa. Let's start with you.
What I really like is that the league this year is predictable. So we had some big teams like Vimy being beaten by, I would say, a little bit smaller teams as well. And in general, the games are on a really high level, and we can see a lot of unexpected twists, like, for example, last week with all the museum changes and CC becoming one of the most important commanders in a game. The teams are really working hard to not be left behind with the changes, and it's really nice to watch it.
Nice. Okay. All right, Mr. Sinneth, you're up, brother.
I think what I like is like the new added statistics. I mean, most of us are enjoying going through statistics and checking how other teams are approaching and stuff like that. I also made a video on it, and that's like a great change to see how the enemy is playing. But what I also liked is like the new approaches of some teams. Like we've seen some cool sneaky tactic games this season already. I mean, it's still top 32 playoffs. It's a qualifier round, and we've already seen some dope gameplays. And I'm looking forward to more of these. That's pretty early, to be honest. Normally, those teams save these plays for the later approach in the final.
I agree, man. The sneaky tactics get you every time. All right, Anubis, you're up, brother.
For me, there's been a couple things. I've really enjoyed how it feels like there's more teams taking Osiris League seriously. Okay. The level of competition prior to top 32 was the best that I've experienced to this point. And then once you hit top 32, there wasn't a bad team that I could think of where people are like, man, they really shouldn't have made it. They just got lucky with their pairings leading up to it. Because even with the lucky pairings, the teams that made top 32 were still quality opponents.
Do Do you think the competition's better than last season?
100%.
And
Yes, I
Horus,
do.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And like, for example, from our experience, granted, got knocked out of top 32 even with 2 wins, but the 2 teams we played to make it into top 32 were just as close as some of our top 32 matches. So I feel like there's more quality opponents that are out there that are spending the time, spending the gems in practice. I feel like there's a lot more teams that have realized that it's not just, oh, well, we're good in normal Ark, we'll be fine in Osiris League. I feel like there's more teams that are actually taking the time to go, okay, normal Ark is just practice for everybody. We're all trying shit out. I don't care if I lost 8 in a row if it was all practice. Like, I'm going to keep my good shit for Osiris League, and then everybody's going to be like, oh, well, this team sucks, and I'm going to smack them in the mouth. Like,
get the Oryx, baby. Get the Oryx.
I feel like the mindset has changed more towards treating it as a true competition rather than teams just trying to slide by because they won normal arcs. And then on top of that, I have really enjoyed the Korean teams coming out and the different approaches that they're taking. And my number one point that I've been talking to people about has been the 1021 groups. If you go back and watch any of their film when you have time, the best rotations that I have ever seen in terms of troop movement, and I'm not even talking about from buildings to mid, I'm talking about the incorporation of the marches coming from the starting zone and how when they arrive at certain spots on the field, their rotations adjust. They've got certain rotations without those marches there, certain rotations when they arrive, and it's something that we've never seen before, even from those top tier teams that we've been watching these last couple seasons.
That's
So
awesome.
It's been really nice. And I can honestly say our team for BLN improved by getting smacked in the mouth by Blackjack. There were things that we learned from playing against them that then affected our next couple matches. So I'm of the mindset that whether you win or you lose, if you don't take anything away from that match, you've lost the point of that match.
Yeah.
And these Korean teams have brought something special to this Osiris League that wasn't there before, in my opinion. And that's been one of my favorite things for this season.
I appreciate it. All right, Sky, you're up, brother.
Dude, honestly, Anubis said just about everything I was going to say. I mean, the most exciting thing for me this season was all the new teams bringing in the new strategies, the Korean teams bringing in all new strategies, everybody trying, like, different things. I mean, you have in Subek a 2.5 billion power team that's taken out 4 billion power teams, XB70's taken out 4 billion power teams at 2.8 billion. I mean, there's a lot of new teams that are coming up with not even that huge power, but really new strategies and trying new things, and that's been the interesting thing for me this season. I know the realm of Horus, to me, it's kind of like everybody doing the same thing, but there's a lot of new strategy with Blackjack, Blackpink bringing in new things. Song did a few new rotations. They actually got smacked for it, though, I believe, versus BLN, but, you know. It is
all
what
good.
it is. I like it though. I like that they're trying new things. I hated last season. To me, last season, personally, in my opinion, the older realm was literally stagnant. Everybody did the exact same thing. You could bet OV's going to this part of the map at this time of the game. You could bet that songs rotating to middle at this time. Like everything was like robots. You knew exactly what was going to happen. In this season, every team has brought in a new strategy. It's been interesting to watch. It's been fun.
Probably the thing that I love the most, and I know Anubis brought it up as well, is my favorite part this season is just seeing the excitement for Osiris League. You know, it's one of those, it's very rare that you see that without having the word KVK, you know, come before it. You know, because everybody's excited for KVK. Unless you have no res, then yeah. But the excitement that we got from Osiris League this season, the amount of people contacting me about, hey, when is your bets video? Or when are you going to do a breakdown? Or when are you going to be casting? Or when are you going to, like, just the sheer amount of messages that I got just from that. Low key, if you're not on the Discord, I'm not going to answer your fucking messages. I'm just kidding. But yeah, we got so much excitement from it. The amount of strategy people are talking, like our Ark chat room is probably the most active chat room in our Discord, even over the community chat. And it's just us talking about bets, rotations, all sorts of things that it's just, it makes the game much more exciting. And I really do, it makes me wish that we had Osiris League or a variation of it. Like it just in constant rotation, whether it was Osiris League to rotate to a different event, it makes me want more. And that's what's nice about it, and just building the hype. The viewership has been phenomenal. And I can tell you that we're tracking that on the official Rise of Kingdoms channel, on my channel, on all, like it's constantly growing in viewership, regardless of just being whatever we think it is. There's so many brand new faces to the game that now I'm getting people from Sobek that are contacting me about strategy and about, like, it used to be where Sobek, they just kind of showed up and we throw out our marches and hope we win. And now they're talking about skill usage and points and rotation times, and they want to chat about everything, and that is what's encouraging. Your older teams are developing new concepts. They're going in the laboratory and kind of figuring out weird combos to bring out, and that's always exciting, and it brings excitement. It brings the viewers. It brings kind of all of us together, regardless of what team you're cheering for. It feels similar to a sport. I'm not saying it is a sport. I just feel it feels like when you have Man U versus and you're just there at a football game or NFL game or however you want to do it sporting wise, where you're chanting, but at the end of the day, you're all there for the same reason, which is nice. We did get a question in the chat, and I do love the idea of this. So Baby Raccoon asked the question, do you think the future placements like top 16 rounds should be hidden until after the top 32 rounds have concluded? And the rationale behind is because this would prevent teams from throwing or switching the brackets intentionally because they can't see where they land. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with this one, because this was one that I got about 15 Discord pings asking me, hey, I'm really confident these guys are throwing because they don't want to face X team and they don't want to do this. They're allies in KVK. I can tell you everything under the sun got sent to me in a message. And the idea of hiding it, I really do think it makes sense in their system. And I do understand it, where it's A1 versus H2. Like, you got to have some sort of system. I do like the idea of switching it up. So maybe next season, A1 versus D1, but you don't notify them of that bracket. I do like the switching, because then it's going to force teams to play their match. You know what I mean? You can't just willingly lose in order to adjust your placement, especially if you're going to start increasing the rewards, which I have a feeling probably each season they're going to slowly start creeping it up. We already saw that this season, and I'm hoping that it continues, because that was one of my big highlights from the season, is they did incorporate a couple of extra rewards and that kind of stuff. But I do like the idea of hiding it, because I'll be honest with y'all, I do really feel like, and as much as they didn't, and I did watch the BLN, we watched it, we casted it at the very end. It felt like a practice match for Song. They were still playing, but it felt like they were testing way too many things to kind of take away from the idea. It's not to take anything away from BLN, because BLN, honestly, their rotations were on point. They brought proper marches. They garrisoned really well. They swarmed. They did what they needed to do to win that match. But I can tell you right now, seeing Song provision for 700 provisions is a joke, because that's a team that naturally provisions between 5 to 6K easily in a match. And for them to only do 700, for them to have a player in the starting zone that had marches that were just AFK in the starting zone, like, there was just too many if, ands, or buts that kind of made me a little finicky about it, because they had to choose between OV and 1V essentially in the second, OV in the first round or 1V in the second round. So that's kind of my thought on it. I really do think they should hide it and then alter it or randomize it to where A1 versus E1 or E2, and then H1 versus B2 or whatever. They just randomize it that way. People aren't stacking the brackets. That's just my personal opinion. I'll go with Anubis real quick.
Give me just 1 second.
No worries, bro. Okay. Well, what?
All right, Mama was grabbing, baby.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good, brother.
Well, I do think that it would be nice to have the further brackets randomized. To me, when it comes to having set brackets moving on from top 32, the only way that's fair and general in my mind is if they already had a system pre-ranking teams. We don't come into Osiris League with, oh, here's your top 120 teams based upon performance, based upon power. Like, if we want to bring in a bunch of teams that are, or a bunch of players that are sitting at 150 million power, well, it's going to affect our rankings when it comes to top 32. So I personally would like to have that part hidden, because if you're not going to bring us in based upon performance, why are you now going to preset who people are going to face? So that's kind of where I come from for that idea. But at the same time, and I'm going to be as brutally honest about my team as possible, if you don't win 3 games, you don't have the right to complain. You have the ability to control your own destiny, and it goes that way for every single bracket. You want to control where you go, be ready to win when you want to win, be ready to lose when you want to lose. If you can't control that, it's hard to complain. And that's kind of where I come from.
Okay. I like that answer. We're getting some good questions, guys. Remember, if you do have questions, Tiny Rick, I appreciate the super chat, my buddy. I will read your thing and then we'll answer it after we rotate through this. So it's what's up, Bulba and panel. Where do you guys think Big Bert, baby, Burger King will be viable in Ark or not viable at all? So we will answer that after we go through this real quick. We are going to probably get a bunch of questions, panel. So if you want to, we can rotate through and then we'll try to keep our answers kind of, because I have a feeling we're going to get a bunch of questions. So we'll keep our answers a little bit shorter, and that way we can rotate through a bunch of questions, because I'm seeing some really good ones right now, and so we'll go through that. Sky, what do you think, buddy? Hiding brackets or not hiding brackets, and why?
I don't care if they do or if they don't. Honestly, my personal opinion, because you got to play against everybody. Like, if you want to be the best, you got to play against the best. I don't see why you try to stretch it out to try to play against OV later on. Go ahead and play them now. It's not like they're gonna get any better or any worse.
See,
I mean, so that doesn't make a difference to me.
See, I think where it makes a difference to some teams is because the rewards are getting expanded. So now you got top 4 are all getting the legendary skin. So a lot of people, I think, are playing the field in order to line themselves up to at least make top 4. Now we'll talk. That will be another question that I'm going to ask, because I'm very intrigued to hear what y'all's answers are in the late game about whether you think Song's decision to go against OV rather than 1v was a smart decision. But we're going to bring that back up here when we wrap around. Sinneth, what do you think, brother?
I think they should definitely hide it due to what you've already said. Like, if people can actually pick a weaker road by throwing a match, getting a legendary skin, I think the chances that teams are doing it, are very high. Like, why should they face a stronger enemy if they can decide to face a lower one in the beginning, get some more rewards, and then get knocked off later? Especially with the expanded legendary cities for the first places. So I think hiding it is the perfect fix. There is no reason to know your next enemies before you actually meet them. And I think like either not making it public or shuffling them. Any like hidden area is totally fine.
All right, Miss Paulinaaa, I know this affects all brackets. So what is your opinion on it? Do you think it affected y'all? Do you think it will affect y'all?
I think personally brackets should be hidden, particularly on this level of game. I think the teams should really fight for every single win rather than calculating who I want to play against or not. BLN did a great job and they deserve the win, but they deserve the win in a normal competition, not to be treated as, oh, I don't want to play against 1B. Yeah. And that also makes me keep my fingers crossed for Ovi even more.
Hey, I like that. Shots fired, no. Paulinaaa. I love it. I love it. Yes.
You wanna play Ovi? I'm sure Ovi can show.
We're gonna
they can definitely beat them.
Yeah, we're gonna bring that part up because I got some hot takes on that one, and it's gonna be interesting. We went through. Did we go through everyone? Sinneth, Anubis. Did I ask you that, brother? Yeah, we did. Okay, so we went through it. All right, let me get to Tiny Rick's question. Then we will wrap around, and I think the Burt question was a big one. Yeah, everyone, Burt. So this kind of answers it. I personally haven't seen testing with Burt and all that kind of stuff. It's probably going to be later on. I don't think the first MGE cleared. I'm so far out of the loop with the MGE.
It's the final day today.
Okay,
yeah, today's the last day.
So if it's the final, so that would be at reset. So yeah, I don't know the rules. Can somebody that isn't in the panel pull up and see if they updated the commanders? See if they updated the commander pool for the rule set to include Burt. I don't know if they included Burt. That's the only thing I don't.
Yeah, they got Burt in there.
They got Burt in there. Okay, so we will see him next. We will see him tomorrow. Do y'all think he's going to be viable in Ark? Is he good? Not good? From what I keep hearing, I feel like people have been talking he's going to be more in Garrison than anything else. But that's just the vibes that I keep getting off of it. That you're going to get Nevsky and open field with swarming, with mid game, and then you're going to have Burt with Jadwiga or with some weird ass combos. Maybe like we might see a weird ass combo like Saladin Garrisons coming back, and it sounds really stupid, but the same could be said about seeing 37 Ethels on the field running around too. So we're gonna see. I think you're definitely gonna see him. I don't know if he'll be on a major structure. I think you'll probably see him more towards like shrines while they test it, and then he'll probably slowly make his way towards like Jadwiga, Garrisons, and Altars. Probably the second week, I would say. I think this first week is gonna be kind of trial and error, in my opinion. What do you think, Sinneth?
To be honest, I'm not really sure about him. Like, looking okay-ish, but I don't see him particularly playing a major role in the next arcs. But we will see probably tomorrow when we can max the first and test them. But I'm not 100% convinced yet that he will make it into the meta.
Okay. Anubis?
I see two potential fits for him, but I agree with Sinneth. I don't think it's about to be meta. One fit is he played a couple seasons ago, back before Xeno got dropped, right? And people were utilizing Martel and that defense tree as a way to increase the performance of garrisons, the lower health they got, right? So I could see something where they were throwing in a Jadwiga with Burt, running the same exact strategy they're doing now with Jadwiga YSS, but gaining the capability of that better rage generation at the end of their cycle with the health wise, and just keep pumping troops in. So the longer the building stays up, the better the defender's capability is. So you might see something like that as an attempt to counter this Nevsky swarm that's coming in. It's a possibility there. The other thing, to me, where it comes into play is forward garrisons. So, for example, BLN, we only had just a couple Jadwigas, right? So we were using Saladin YSS as forward garrisons for our XY rallies. You couldn't tell if the Saladin was an open field march or if it was a garrison, just like if someone's sending up a Monotori for an archer rally. You had to decide, am I going to attempt to kill all the Saladins on the field, or am I just going to try to take out the rally? And we were able to use that idea of deception a little bit to our advantage because we were weaker not having those Jadwigas. So I could see something like that working out where people are sending out the Burts more for forward garrisons when they don't have enough Jadwigas to go around. But I don't see him replacing Jadwiga, and I don't see him replacing any of the Cav rallies. So I think it's going to be more of a niche role for him than a meta-changing role.
Okay. All right, Sky, you're up, brother.
The biggest thing for Bert, at least for this weekend, is he's just going to be released at reset. So no one's going to have time to really test him, even in practice matches, right? Like you can't even do a practice match anymore right now. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I'm actually interested because you said that. Is the Korean Osiris League going on right now? I haven't been keeping track.
I don't know.
If it is, has Bert been unlocked in Korean Osiris League? That would be an interesting thing for us to figure out. Because if
I guess they'll have 12 hours too.
Because if that's the case, then that means the Koreans have had access to it already, which will be very interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because that's my only hang up right now is like nobody's gonna have much time to practice for him. So even if he is something that would change the meta, which I don't think he is, I agree with everybody else here. I don't think he's something that's meta changing this, at least not this season. But I think he's gonna be somebody that's gonna be in like these rallies as a switch for a garrison. Definitely behind Jadwiga. But yeah, he's not meta changing, and nobody's gonna have enough time to practice with him to know exactly where he's gonna be at, anyways. So I don't see him doing anything this weekend particularly.
I got money. I'm throwing some money down that we're gonna see 60 GT and 60 MX with nothing but Jadwiga, Bert garrisons, and all structures.
Yeah, they're gonna prove us wrong, bro. They're gonna be
legendary.
Like, yeah, we practiced. We actually did the 14 practices up until our match today.
We had practice matches for the last 24 hours, and we are prepared mentally, and we are running on 15 pots of coffee. It's like, bro, you know the OV out there lining up, farm alliances to do practice. Dude, they're just going to be boom, 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 boom. They're just going to be practicing nonstop. It's going to be fucking absolutely nutty. Paulinaaa, I know this isn't going to necessarily affect you, but just in general... I'll bring it up just in general, just for your realm. How do you feel about introducing new commanders during the middle of the Osiris League?
It's always big unknown, and if Bert will happen to be better than we assume, whoever tries him may really benefit a lot. From my perspective, as I said before, most of my players are low spenders in a team. So I would rather go for Nevsky, who's available in a wheel, than risk a lot for Mighty's Governor Commander, who we don't have that easy access to.
EES, come in. Bert is a rally commander. Why in Garrison? That's all I've been hearing, EES. That's all I've been hearing is... That's where people think it's going to be viable. Because that's, surprisingly, this rotation, a lot of people aren't super hyped on Bert. A lot of people that I've been hearing are telling everyone to go all out, balls out on Nevsky. And then Bert's kind of, hey, when we get there kind of deal. But I have a feeling, guys, it's the same reason why, like, when people are like, why do they have Saladin in Garrison? There's just certain situations that it just, I don't know. And hopefully we'll see some tomorrow. I just have a feeling I don't know if Bert's going to be it for a rally. I think there's so many other combos that are going to be really, really good, and we're seeing a lot of them in the KVK that I feel like Bert's going to be utilized in other facets, and that's just my opinion.
It's more of a liability in a rally, to be completely honest. Gilga has been out for long enough to make healing in rallies a true liability. Most teams at this level have multiple people that have maxed Gilgas in each lane. You're talking about top 16, not top 32. So if you're taking a commander that's going to be popping heals over multiple turns, and you're able to swarm a Cav rally with Gilga and get the extra damage out on top of it, well, your rally already is swarmable. So if your draw of this commander is the heals, and you're not anti-swarm like an Attila Takeda was back in the day, then you're going to just be taking extra damage without being able to sustain. And I think that's where at least In Ark, he's more of a liability. Now, it may change when you hit KVK, and you're not able to just swarm all the time with hundreds of marches on the field. But in Ark, swarming is the meta, so if that healing is a liability, I think that's why most teams are staying away from the concept of a Burt rally.
I tell everybody it's like a virgin on prom night. All right, you know what I mean. You need to you get in, you get out. You know, you ain't lasting. This ain't a marathon. You either gonna hit hard and hit fast, or you're gonna get absolutely blasted in the first minute or two. That's the whole point of Ark, and that's where the separation comes between that and KVK. You're not trying to have the longest lasting rally. You're not trying to go for that marathon. You're just trying to hit it. Well, I'm not going to say hit it. Well, we won't go there, all right? Because we might have some children in here, right? You know what I'm saying? Okay. We do have a ton of great questions. We're going to make, this is actually a quicker question. So we're going to, if you do think it's possible, state yes, and then state the team that you think will beat it. Okay. Question came in. You think there is a team that can beat 60 GT in their realm? We'll start off with Skywalker on this one.
Absolutely not.
All right, Sinneth, you're up.
I'm in the same realm, and I think they will win as well. Like, the coins are on them.
Ooh, I like it. Mine are too. I got like 100 and I got so many. All right, Paulinaaa.
I don't really think that at the moment there is any team in the realm which can beat them unless they make some severe mistakes.
Okay, I'm going to go. You ready? You ready? The only team that has a shot, and you can clip this if you want to, the only team that has a shot of beating 60 GT is 60 MX. Based on from what I'm seeing, and yes, it would absolutely kill. It would kill my innards because I put all my shit on 60 GT, but team wise, equipment wise, you have to remember as well. There's probably champions that actually won. Ironically, probably the only champions that are in that kingdom are playing on 60 MX, if I had to guess. And there might be a couple that are on 60 GT, but I'm pretty confident most of them are the old UCS guys that haven't won anything. So you're comparing actual champions to teams that was a runner-up. I'm not saying that 60 GT won't win because I think they do look the strongest, but you're only as best as your record, and you got champions, I assume, that are in 60 MX, so they do have a shot. I would say they would probably have the best shot out of everybody. And Anubis, who you got? Or if anybody.
I'd say if a team was going to, it'd be 60 MX for the same reason that you did. But to me, it would come down to, is 60 GT willing to throw in order for that to happen? I don't mean it as a discredit towards MX, but those guys from UCS are hungry to prove themselves, and it's showing.
No.
Okay. All right.
And GT has all the gear and VIP 18 players, man. They all of them are stacked there.
All right. So
their
I'm gonna
whole
flip
30
this,
squad is.
I'm gonna flip this on its head then. All right. So we asked about that specific realm. Okay. And it's the same way, same format. Yes. And if so, which team? From all the realms, since we do have a tournament after the tournament, I guess you would say, a little segment afterwards. Do you think there's a team in another realm that could beat 60 GT? And I'll start. I definitely think that they're beatable. I just don't think they're beatable in their current realm. I think if you put 60 GT in Horus, I don't think they win Horus. I would take JST, and I would also take 1v to beat 60 GT. All right, let's go with Skywalker.
Oh, yeah. Personally, I don't think so, dude. Because I think the best. No. And I think the best team that would have a shot is honestly JST, but 60 GT, from what I've seen this season, is much faster on their rotations. Much faster.
Okay.
I don't think they would beat them, so no.
Anubis?
The only two that I see doing that are JST and 1V. But to me, they're all pretty equal. So I don't see any of those blowing out the other. I see it just being a close match, and whoever happens to execute that slightly bit better than the others is who would win. So I'm really looking forward to the Invitational because of that reason.
Paulinaaa?
I would go with 1v.
Oh, okay. I like it. Sinneth?
I think I would agree also that JST has a pretty good chance. Like, they are playing on a very similar level. But besides that, I don't performing on that level, scrolling through the different realms right now.
Okay. All right. So we got a really good question, and we did talk about this last season. So Sinneth will remember this. I know I've talked with Anubis about this quite a bit. The question came in: thoughts on a replay system? Do you think it will harm top teams who do not want their strategies to be analyzed? We'll start off with Miss Paulinaaa. Let's start off with you. Oh, she might be cooking. All right, Sinneth, let's go over to you, brother.
I think it wouldn't harm anyone. I think, let's be honest, most of the teams on that level are already doing that. And like, we are investing our time to being around to cast these matches or to record these matches at any different time slot if we are able to. And it's just a more convenient thing. If there would be a replay, we can rewatch whenever we want from different positioning stuff. And I think as long as you can review all the matches, it wouldn't harm any side. It's just like a convenient way to see different situations, and it's like pretty normal in every other esport competition.
Okay. Anubis.
I don't see any harm in it whatsoever. Like Sinneth said, we're already recording matches. The last couple seasons, I've been spending over 20 hours a week combing through film between stuff I record, stuff that friends send me, the stuff that's out there from their own Ark recorders who don't make their videos private, which, by the way, for the love of God, if you want to keep something secret in your recording, make your shit private. It's one of the things that just blows my mind. If you are wanting to keep something secret and you're going to put it publicly out there, trust people like me are going to find it. It's not difficult. And I've seen people that the only change they make, even though they're making it public, is they're taking capital letters and making them lowercase or removing a symbol. Like, come on, guys, we can still find it. But having that out there, it just makes it easier to find it. If you want to keep something secret, then you need to hold it. Otherwise, it's going to be found out. So just deal with it at this point, in my opinion.
Recordings. Man, I love this question because we've been talking about in-game recording, and last season we made the suggestion that they need to add a recording feature, but not only that, we wanted more robust, like, I want to say caster tools, right? And I know this doesn't affect everybody, all right? But for those of y'all who've played plenty of esports, you've watched Call of Duty, you've watched what are some first-person shooter guys, you know?
CSGO, for example.
CSGO, where you can see the kind of the arrows, and you see them running around the map where they're looking. All guys, I can tell you right now that, and this is kind of a sad reality, but it's a reality, and I try to keep it real with y'all. They don't have a top view map, right? I had to design a top view map that I have in the Discord. That way, if our members, our planners, want to be able to like do actual plans that aren't like in a side angle view, you can go and take that down, and it's literally like a bird's eye view looking down. Because if we could see movements, you can plan out rotations. Not everything you record is going to be able to be captured, right? Unless you have 14 people all looking at one structure each, and then you piece it all together to then, like, come on, let's be realistic, guys. If they had a bird's eye view that showed the march movements, the time, like just with the top clock at the time, so many things could be learned about rotation times, how they're rotating, troop movements as a whole. Like, there's so many things that we can take as analyze, to break down, to, you know, it makes the game more interesting. And I think that's where it falls short, because I love Wick's content, right? And I've talked with Wick forever about his content, the numbers, breakdowns, reports, like all that kind of stuff. And I know y'all love it as well. But if you can imagine large scale events that then have a similar breakdown, imagine a KVK where it has like a heat map, right? A heat map of troop movements, or just in general, there's just so many things that we can do with the map. And I don't want to dive into a tangent on it because I'm already doing it. But I do feel like recording and having some sort of streamer tools or analytical tools outside of just factual numbers is only going to help the scene even more. So that's the one thing I will say about that. Let me see. There was a question up here. Give me 1 second. It was Ethel Trajan with Ethel Primary. Yes.
That is the best way to run it.
Yeah, that's what I was told. 100%.
It's because of March speed. That the reason, because I have seen this question a lot, and feel free to interrupt me if you don't want me to go into it.
No, go for it.
But the reason why people are running Ethel Primary, it's not due to performance when they hit a march, a rally, or a structure. You could get an extra 20% march speed just by swapping them around if you run the right talents. And at this point, if you could take a mixed march and make it just as fast as any full archer or full infantry march and keep your marches together, that extra movement speed is worth losing a little bit of performance, because your performance doesn't matter if you can't get to your target. So that's why you're seeing the Ethels running primary everywhere, is purely because of march speed.
Okay. I like that. You're also seeing other things like weird combos because of museum. And I know I've been seeing it too with other teams, especially on breakoff, where they know that they're going to push a structure to try to take it. You're seeing like CC, Caesars. You're seeing just the sheer amount of troop like wanting to get forward on the map. So you are going to see weird stuff based on just it. And that's what Ark is. It's all about speed. It's not about who can sit and be the tankiest, unless you're trying to defend, then yes, you want to be super tanky. But if you're trying to hit, you're definitely not. Question. I do like this question as well. Looking at how many kingdoms have more than one team in top 32, is the ability to practice against each other a major factor contributing to it? Let's start with Sinneth on this one, brother.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Okay, so essentially what the question is do you think that a major contributing factor to kingdoms having more than one team in top 32, do you think that's playing a big role?
I think it has ups and downsides. Of course, if you have like multiple teams in the kingdom that are like playing at the same time in the top 32 or even further into that bracket, you will have to deal with MGE sports to distribute commanders and stuff like that. But on the opposite side, you have a great team to test stuff against. Like you can play practice matches basically every day. And you have a lot more time to play, test strategies and stuff out compared to other teams, since we don't have cross-kingdom practice matches.
Okay, Anubis.
Yeah,
well, coming from Anubis, who's in Kingdom 1365 with JST and crew. So, what are your thoughts?
Oh my gosh, if you have the opportunity, and I'm not saying you're necessarily going to choose to take your team and migrate to a different kingdom for that reason. It's more to me as a kingdom who already has a good team looking for good recruits. If you can bring in another top 32 level team, you have no idea how much it helps. I've never missed top 32 in any season. I've been playing since before this stuff started, and I have never learned as much in a short amount of time than being able to work on a daily basis with another top tier team. It's just the way it is. Even if you guys are running the same strategy, which we were not running the exact same strategy as JST, but even if you're running the same strategy, you're going to see people's movements be better, and you start asking questions. Why are you able to do this better than I am? Here's what I saw. What are you seeing on the opposite side as you're moving against my movement? Where is that difference coming from? And those conversations, whether it's a DM with one player on the team or leaders getting together and discussing what they saw, what they were trying to do, what worked, what didn't, those little conversations have more of an impact than I ever knew, because this was the first time I've been able to consistently play against another top tier team outside of every 2 weeks, in which case your opponent is not going to fucking talk to you about it. It really is an advantage that if you can bring in a team into an established kingdom, it's worth it. If you're looking to migrate, I wouldn't choose a kingdom based upon that, but if you're between two, it could be the extra incentive to go to one spot over another, and your team will greatly benefit from it.
I like that answer. I like it. Sky? Sky's busy in the chat right now, just making friends.
Yeah. So reiterate the whole question, just to make sure I answer this perfectly fine.
He's busy answering this KVK question. Basically, do you feel like having multiple teams in
So Dan Slot's question?
Yes.
Yeah, dude, of course. Heck yeah, dude. If you have more than one team that's potential OL, to be able to practice against each other, which you should be doing, I guarantee you, actually, I know 60 GT and 60 MX practice against each other. That's a very, very, very huge boost up. I mean, just look at 60 MX this season coming out of absolutely nowhere. I mean, their players have historically been through OL. We get that. But the alliance as a whole and the group as a whole coming out of nowhere and just completely obliterating everybody they've been put in front of kind of isn't a testament to that. So, I mean, it's the proof is in the pudding there. Let's go look at 60 MX.
Paulinaaa, we had somebody ask when the Ark Planners thing is. It's right now, bro. Paulinaaa, I don't know much. I don't know. Like every single alliance, do y'all have multiple kingdoms or multiple alliances that are in top 16 right now?
Well, like my team didn't even register for the Osiris League, but in general, in our kingdom, we did have more than one team registered.
Do you practice against them often?
I don't really think there were many practice matches launched, to be fair. But in general, I would say it's a great opportunity if you have a team on a similar level to be able to practice, to discuss it, to see things from a different perspective. We are sometimes so stuck to the way we do things that we do not really see the other side of it. Mm-hmm. So if you have opportunity, I think it's great, and particularly on the level we have in Osiris League right now.
See, and while I know a lot of people in chat are probably like, oh, okay, don't worry about it, all right? There's certain realms in the very beginning, practice. Some teams will practice, but I would probably say like 90 to 95% of the teams don't actively, like, we're talking about a lot of the realms in Anubis and Horus that have going through like the 4th and 5th rotation that are now constantly doing it. So those teams and Sobek and maybe some teams in Baztet, might not put that much, like their KVK mind focused right now, and then it starts leaking into it, and so I'm very hyped to see where some of the Sobek teams go. And that's kind of the other thing, and I didn't bring this up earlier, that's exciting, is there's so many new teams, and I know Skywalker brought it up, that nobody knows jack shit about, right? So it makes these matches really exciting because, like, I became a fan of NCA, right? Y'all already know it. Y'all saw my bet video. We're clearing the shop, boys. Hopefully y'all follow it. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Did you bet on NCA as well?
Did you?
Yeah, baby. I bet on them last week too. They almost took out BBC.
Yes. So I went like 5.6K in it or some. Dude, we're clearing the shop, boys. And if
I got 1,800, baby. Dude, the bet's like 322 mil to fucking like 13 mil. Come on, man. How could you not put that bet in?
And they lost by 800 points. That's what I was like, oh. Dude,
Yeah,
I would
the
have cleared the shop.
BBC.
I would have lost.
And
And I think BBC is better than the team they're playing. See, and that's kind of what I didn't say is I feel like BBC, the team they played last week, and only lost by 800, I feel are better than the team that they're going to play this week. So that's my thought on it. So don't go mess with our odds. All right, viewers.
That's what I stated. I think BBC and DR, I think it's 34, DR 34. I think those are the two best teams in that realm, honestly.
All right, Sinneth.
Can you repeat the last question once again? Sorry.
Oh shit! I forgot what the fucking question was. Fuck. Right? Shit. We went on a tangent. And I lost my brain. I'm sure it'll come back up, and I'll bring it back up, Sinneth. Y'all have so many KVK questions right now. I love it. Let me see. Who do you guys? Man, this question. Okay, we'll answer this one KVK question, guys, because I do like it, but I don't want to answer too many KVK questions because I want to keep it focused around Ark. But we all know the one of the bigger KVKs is coming soon, and it's a quote unquote, and we'll preface this with quote unquote, right? Free for all between 254, 556, 875, correct, and 1365.
Correct.
And they have, who do you have winning the free for all KVK? Even just a wild guess to throw it out there. I'll start this off because I know my boys and girls from 1254. You know, we're in a love relationship out there. So I know that they're super excited to hear my answer. And it's probably not going to change. Yeah. I love you, KM. Shout out to KM in the chat. He's always supporting us. I appreciate it. And Red and Smash Squad and all the boys and girls that are in 1254. But when you paint your big ass fucking target on your chest, you know, put a big ass target, right? Guess what's going to happen? Even in a free for all, you put three midgets against a giant. Guess what's going to happen? They're all going to fucking attack the giant, right? Indirectly, even if it's a free for all, none of these guys are midgets either. They're all giants in their own place. But you put yourself Fire Kingdom, you're the biggest one out of all of them, and the idea of your status, I don't necessarily think they're the biggest. Well, they might be the biggest. I haven't looked at 875. We do need to do a breakdown. But even in a free for all, guys, it's never a free for all. All right, maybe in the zones that are locked by passes, maybe, but the biggest threat will always get targeted first, right? We all know that. We all understand that. Even in the 916 one, it happened, right? Guess what happened? 846 came into Kingsland, and guess what? Everyone V-lined the shit to 846. And most kingdoms would not survive that just because you're getting gangbanged from 3 different kingdoms, and it's going to happen. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Mark my words. The other zones, probably, you know, you can get away with it, but once Kingland opens, they are all going to V-line. You're only going to see them fucking V-line directly to 254 to clear them out, and then the other 3 will brawl it out to see who's going to win. But they will always get focused first. They just have a big-ass target, and that's just my opinion. Who do I have winning? I don't have 556 winning. I think it's going to come. I haven't seen 875 fight. If I had to take a guess, see, the only thing that worries me about 365, and I know they're making adjustments, is like adjustments in downtime. Okay, that was always the big thing with 365 before they brought in BLN. They brought in, you know, more players, you know, that weren't Korean. Was their downtime. When it went down, it went super down. You know what I mean? Like you could park a bus in their city and motherfuckers would be waking up with a bunch of cities surrounding them. You know what I mean? Yeah, y'all know the memes. Honestly, I think 365 still have a good feat for it. I don't know about 875. I just don't know enough about them. So if I had to choose a winner, I think it's going to be 365, in my opinion. Let's start with, we're going to leave Anubis for the last because I know he's going to be biased as fuck. Sinneth, you're up, brother. Who do you got winning that KVK?
Actually, I'm cheering for 365 as well because I got a bunch of friends over there.
Yeah.
And I think the points you said are valid, especially having YouTubers is often a downside. Kingdom wanna smash you for content. So, with that being said, that's my take on it.
Look at fucking Sky. Look at the people Sky surrounds himself. We got gang bang so hard, my butt still hurts. All right, Paulinaaa, who do you have winning that KVK?
Bami. I love the spirit, and I'm definitely keeping my fingers crossed for them, hoping they will have more luck this time.
Ooh, okay. Sky, who do you have on this one, brother?
Oh, yeah. So if they're smart, they're all going to gangbang 12-4, right? But I don't think they're going to be smart about it. And I think, honestly, 365 is going to start poking them in the back end while they're trying to go for 12-4. So I think they're going to completely throw it, and 12-4 is going to win. And I'm honestly waiting to see. I know Anubis is in 365, so I don't want to sound like I'm salty towards them, but I want to see if 365 covered that like 12-hour downtime that they had as our allies last KVK. They were so dead on our active time. I want to know if they recovered that with those two alliances they brought in on the off season. I'm very interested to see the new 365 this KVK.
Skywalker burning bridges right now. I love it. You love to see it. All right, Anubis coming in. Hot take.
That is the hope. That,
Not as hot as I thought.
No.
I don't think he's gonna be mad, bro. It was a real thing. They did have a huge downtime last KVK.
We did. We did bring in enough people that as long as everybody shows up like we all should, that should be taken care of. But I don't think that people outside of this KVK really realize just how close 254, 556, and 365 really are.
They're gonna find out soon enough. Promise you.
Yeah, we're all, depending upon which break off of the rankings of players for the kingdom you look at, one has 556 as the biggest, one has 254 as the biggest, one has 365 as the biggest. So one is more top heavy, one has more depth. It's just going to be who is willing to go to 0 in order to win. And then after that mindset part of it, it's going to come down to which kingdom is starting to get knocked out first that will pull back and start double teaming somebody from behind. Because someone is going to get smacked in the mouth early. And I think what we're going to see in this KVK is something very similar to what 636 has become well known for. If 636 gets gangbanged, fine. Don't worry. You'll see us later.
Ooh.
And they come out and they smack everybody in the back of the head on their way to the Kingsland.
You had me at
I think something like that is going to happen in this KVK. But I do think the 3 top kingdoms are so close that even though I'm obviously rooting for us to win, I'm not going to pick a specific kingdom to win because we are just that close. And I think the winner is going to come down to who has that other team that shows up late and fucks their opponent, and then they can just run over the final team themselves.
You had me at gangbang. Okay. All right. Question for the panelists. So we're going to switch it back to Ark, boys, because this isn't the KVK Summit, which is actually a kind of a good idea. We may write this down and then just bring a bunch of shit talkers in for a KVK Summit. I don't know. We'll figure it out. That might be kind of fun. I'm not going to lie to you. Here, I'll write it down because I know I'm going to fucking forget.
Bulba, one more thing.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to see the most crazy shit talk you've ever seen, create an alt account in one of those kingdoms and just park it on Lost Kingdom chat and enjoy the show.
Oh, yeah, I already had it. I was streaming it. What was it? The last KVK with the and I went into the LKC, bro. I couldn't even say like hello without the your fucking KP sucks ass. I'm just like, bro, okay, I'm out of I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I just sat there and let the chat roll, and I was just like, man, I'm about to get demonetized so hard. All right, so let's get into some of these questions. Sir Dance a Lot. What a fucking, I hope you can dance. If you can't dance and you have a name like that, rips. How often do you introduce new people into your teams? Or they're more or less set? What are you looking for other than obvious VIP level and commanders? I'll start this one off. If you're going to be planning for a team, I would say the biggest thing that I've noticed with good teams is they're very consistent, right? They might switch a couple of players here and there each week during regular Ark, but when it comes to their core, a huge percentage of them are constantly playing together. The teams that more often than not get knocked out early, that are big, that are usually makeshift teams that get thrown together, that have played maybe 1 or 2 weeks together, and then they come into Osiris League to try to get some rewards, and then they get bounced, right? The teams that consistently make it over and over and over again are the teams that always play together. They practice together. You basically eat shit and sleep together. No lulls intended. And you just keep that core together, because at some point, and I've been in comms that are between the two different teams, when you have a team that's constantly played together, you already know kind of what your side is going to do, right? You don't need to calm out, oh, bro, there's 5 Belisariuses on the left-hand side in the bushes. You don't have to do all that bullshit. You know what I mean? It's just high-level chat that's just coming through. It's very clear, concise, and straight to the point. And then you have the comms of the new teams that are playing together, and fucking Aunt Jemima out there is yelling that the provision runner is coming, and they're doing like paragraphs worth of text, and then it's sporadic. And that's the part that I would say the different level. I don't give a shit about VIP level. Commanders are a bigger deal, but VIP level, I don't want to negate all these, right? But I want a player that is going to show up, right? And it sounds really stupid, right? That it's going to show up. They're going to be on voice chat. And if there's a job that needs to get done, they're willing to do it, right? Because if you have a player that's not willing to do any of that shit, then it doesn't make a damn difference if they have VIP or commanders. That's just my opinion, all right? Paulinaaa, what are you looking for? Or do you keep your core pretty, or do you constantly rotate?
For me, always the players who already were with a team have the priority to register. Then whoever wants to join is more than welcome to. We have a couple of very simple requirements, like be on voice chat, don't be non-show, speak English, follow the strategy. Commanders, of course, it's always amazing to get some new commanders. However, I do prefer smaller player with low-level commanders who is actually a team player than high-power player who will be just running around doing their own personal stuff instead of supporting the team.
All right. Sinneth, you're in there?
I couldn't agree more. I think it's pretty crucial on this level that the team is playing together for a longer time, so everyone is kind of aware of how people react when certain things happen, like you're losing structures, you're winning structures. And it's kind of hard if you have to explain everyone what to do next at that moment. I think forming a team in the off season and playing with that team is kind of crucial if you want to survive into the higher bracket.
All right, Sky.
Yeah, I mean everybody's saying the exact same thing here, and it's 100% true. You gotta have a team that's cohesive, and the only way to do that is by playing with the same team.
All right. I know this affects Anubis a little bit differently, I think, because they moved from 1375 to 1365. So did y'all's team change quite a bit? And if so, do you think it was for the better, for the worse?
Very much so did it change, and it even changed going into top 32 when some of the better players like Westy came over from 916. I did not play with this team for last season. I was in a different kingdom myself. I came and joined the team when I migrated at the same time that BLN migrated into this group. But to me, the question's kind of twofold. If you have the ability to have a fully established team, that is ideal. However, availability is king, and it's not just showing up to your matches. If you have a team that's played together forever, but you've got a handful of players who are mysteriously never available for practices, they're not going to pick up on all the shit that you're trying. If you find something that works great and you put it into the plan out there for everybody to see, but a handful of people didn't show up to the practices, they're not going to be able to execute at the level that you're hoping that these strategies work at. And like you kind of said, it's great to have that VIP 18. It's great to have the all procced gear. But I ran my team in the last Osiris League that had 2 full T4 players on it. Didn't even have T5 unlocked. And the reason for that was we played those players over actual whales on that team because the whales wanted to do their own fucking thing. I don't care if you're VIP 18 and you've got the best gear and the best commanders. If you're not going to listen to an order, get the fuck off my team. Those T4 players were our farmers. And I
love it.
They were our farmers. They knew that even in KVK, they're not going to be able to go head up against Godfather and be able to survive. But those players were willing to do what was asked. They invested their material production into bones. They invested their gold into the gathering gear instead of putting it towards unlocking T5. And those T4 players got a top 32 skin out of it. Those T4 players earned the respect. Those T4 players then were donated resources to make up for what they were spending for the team. If you're available and you're willing to do what's necessary, you don't have to be the biggest, baddest player out there. Your value to a team could be simply that you're willing to do what your team needs you to do. And those are the kind of players you want because guess what? They may be T4 now, but if the team takes care of them, they could be that T5 player next time. You can maneuver around that.
And I like that because that's something that younger teams in younger realms in particular should take note of. Like I get we all want the big player. We all want it, right? But you got to have there's going to be players that are going to be super passionate about it, that really want to get better, that are willing to do I call it the dirty work, right? You know, the dirty work is all the shit that you don't see that goes unseen in the match, whether it's the guy who's just face palming into a wall, having to swarm out a massive fucking whale. They know they're going to get obliterated, but it's doing a job. You know what I mean? You got to go brick by brick. So that's where you want to surround yourself with, because you're going to be spending a lot of time with these guys. And I'm telling you, if you're not already, you'll get to that point where you're consistently either in practice matches or testing shit or in KVK, or you're constantly around these people. So if you can't, you know, sit there for an hour and be okay with being around them, then you probably need to find somebody you know. You know what I mean? So that's a good one. We have 2 more big boy questions and then we'll wrap it up because guys, we're already at an hour and a half and I don't want to keep my panel too long because I do appreciate their time. Okay. So we'll keep these last 2 pretty concise. If y'all want to add more, then kudos. We'll do that because we're not super large, so it's okay. First question: what are let's do top 3. What are the top 3 things that you absolutely did not like about this season of the Osiris League? And we'll go ahead and start off with Paulinaaa.
Probably the thing I didn't like the most is the fact we didn't register. I was literally in the middle of migrating from one kingdom to another when the registration opened. Other than that, I'm a big fan and I absolutely love the tournament. I maybe wish it was more open to smaller teams as well. So, like in football, you do not have only one top league, you have smaller leagues as well. Where, for example, the teams who are losing the group stage could still compete. Where the teams based on low spenders, middle spenders could register as well. Because let's face the fact that at the moment small teams can register, but all they can achieve is first occupation of the obelisk in a game, and that will be it if you are unlucky enough to end in a group with really big team. So maybe if in the future there would be more stages of the league where smaller teams could also have their chance to compete, that would be great. But anyway, I'm absolutely happy with how Osiris League looks like.
Okay. Sinneth, what are your top 3, brother?
In general, I'm a fan of Osiris League, but what I dislike was the mid-season changes of museums that I already mentioned. Like, not the change itself, that's fine, I guess, if it's like available to everyone at the same time. But it wasn't available to everyone at the same time, so it wasn't affecting us directly, but others were affected. That's shit, in my opinion. It shouldn't happen. It happened like the second time, I think. Last season they implemented VIP 18, if I remember right, and this season the museum buffs, and I think major updates that are like only available to a very small amount of players shouldn't happen during a league. And also, I believe they should do the systems they use for the finals and for the invitational for the whole league, actually, because otherwise it's not really a league. In the beginning, it's kind of whoever plays longer and spends more and whatsoever will go to the tops. And at the end, they try to make it competitive, and I think they should make it the other way around. They should get the equal ground for everyone, and from this point on, they should figure out a new way for rolling out this invitational system to everyone instead of like just making it for one match. I mean, that's kind of pointless. You can't say it's like competitive from the very early beginning until the end if you only make the last match in a competitive format and everything else before is kind of spending based. That's like my thoughts on it.
I do like that. Okay, Sky, you're up.
All right. So one, since Anubis mentioned his name directly, F that guy Westy. No, I'm just kidding. my biggest hate of this season, though, was Westy and my other 3 rally leaders leaving me. Bro, my biggest hate of the season was for sure 5 of my top players migrating out from our Osiris League team after we were on 11 win streak in the normal season, going hot, dude. We were doing very good. They migrated out. They kind of screwed us, but alright. For actually the Osiris League in general, though, my biggest gripe, honestly, dude, is still just teams like coming out and not showing up, and that is, to me, is because they still have it to where it's like your troops. It's exactly like they're talking about the spenders. Like it's still a spending event. They should have it, to me personally, a flat base set amount of troops in Osiris League. That way it is like competition. It's just strategy that wins it. It's not who can have the bigger wallet there. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much my only gripe is I hate that we keep having teams that aren't showing up or KVK really affecting Osiris League outcome. I think they should be completely separate.
All right, Anubis, you're up.
A couple things for me, and I'm with everybody. I'd love to have a level playing field. However, keeping in mind this is a company that is taking advantage of opportunities to make as much money when they can. And I can't blame companies for doing that. But the number one thing for me, stop changing stuff mid-season. And let's think about this over the last few seasons. Zenobia introduced top 32. Alliance skills introduced in top 32. You could qualify for the tournament, but the alliance skills didn't take effect until you were in top 32. You had VIP 18 introduced top 32. This time you've got Nevsky being introduced in top 16. Oh, and by the way, there was a team in one of the lower realms that all of a sudden got put in Season of Conquest, and Lilith went, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, congratulations, you've just aged in. Now all these commanders and equipment that you haven't had access to, deal with it. Like, once that tournament starts, and before you get to playoffs, when the tournament starts, whatever the rules are, whatever the commanders are for whatever realm you have, keep it that way through the whole tournament. Because there is no way to prevent teams like your JSTs, your 1Vs, your TRs of the world going, okay, we already know it's going to happen. Be ready to spend. We'll be just fine. And you get the teams who are badass teams that don't have that kind of spending capability that could make top 32. They could make top 16. And the second that they release something, oh, by the way, your badass team that did so great to get here, yeah, deal with it. You're about to get eliminated, and there's nothing you can do about it. So that's my number one gripe. Once you start the tournament, whatever the playing field is at that moment in time, it should be locked until the finals are over. If you want to change it for invitational, I don't care, because you have access to everything. But
well, that's why I want it to be. Finals. It's kind of why I want it to be like the invitationals, like for each realm. You should. I personally think they should just have all the gear, all the commanders, all the troops that's needed per player unlocked. That's my feeling on Osiris League.
Well, it makes sense because with the Anubis, I understand where he's coming from, but it sounds conflicted to me. And I'll answer my thing. And the reason I say that is because you don't think we should have it but the incentive, it's like you were saying, they're gonna want to make money, they want to do all that, so they don't lock it. They don't lock anything, right? But then you can't have it where then you have a paid to win feature like a new commander that gets introduced that then you can't just turn it off. I do get the understanding of the rule switch. That for sure, I agree with 100%. But the idea of, oh, well, they introduced a new commander, there, it's one of those. It's a pay to win game. It's gonna happen. They're gonna throw shit that the pay to win are then gonna be able to benefit from, and that's always been. I know that we go back and forth. The whole community goes back and forth on new commanders and pay to win separation and the skill gap and we can go on for days on this, and I already know we can go on for days about this. So that's the only thing I would say. I would like it to feel less pay to win, because this event is, for me, that's where it starts killing the excitement, is when you start having it feel like, oh, well, fuck, the only reason they're winning is, and this isn't me saying this is just the overall consensus that I constantly hear is, well, fuck, we're up against a pay to win alliance that has nothing but this and this and this and this and this. Fuck it. We don't, whatever. You know what I mean? If you level the playing field, a lot of teams are going to beat a lot of those pay to win teams. And I promise you, it has nothing to do with that. It's just the time and effort, and it makes it hard as a community for people to want to invest more into something if they already feel like they're under the gun before they've even started, if that makes sense. So
there was one other thing.
Go ahead, brother.
And I believe this was a suggestion from last Bull Battalion, and Sinneth can verify this if it's true or not. I heard it somewhere, and again, I believe it's from your show, but if they simply allowed for your dead KVK troops that will be returning to you to be usable in Osiris League, the competition will be greater throughout the entirety of the tournament. You will not have any teams that go, well, we may win this KVK, we may not, but we can definitely get into top 32 if we just sit on our ass the whole time. If you take away the incentive to not participate in KVKs, you will have better KVKs and you will have better Osiris League matches when the teams are going, hey, yeah, we're going to lose troops, but as soon as we jump in the match, we get our reserves back that are going to be returned at the end of KVK. If they could find a way to do that, you will improve the quality of both KVKs and Osiris League at the exact same time.
That was in the last summit we have talked about that, and I think we already said that code is already written, because that's what actually happening in the expedition mode, so they could simply move that part to the Osiris League.
Yeah, and that's kind of
I think that only solves one of the issues, though, right? Because we've seen personally where it was, I can't even remember what team it is, but they're big Imperium Kingdom. Both their teams didn't even show up, and it had nothing to do with troops. They didn't want to heal. They were migrating in players. So that still doesn't solve that part of it. If you're in KV, or if you're just coming out of KVK and you're trying to keep your hospitals full, or you're trying to migrate in players, then you're still not going to show up to your Osiris League match to where you can potentially win that match or go be a top 16 team. Like, those were serious competitive teams that didn't show up just for migration. Like, it should, to me, it should be two completely separate individual, like, game modes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can send out farmers and go do your boats.
Yeah.
That's actually what you're doing in Expedition, right? You don't have to heal your troops to go to
it's
an
not
expedition.
Live troops.
So that's like, they could simply use this feature and implement it into League, so you don't have to heal, you don't have to worry about your dead troops. You can do both. You can go hard in KVK, and you can use the troops afterwards in League. You don't have to you don't have to worry about filled hospitals in case you're Imperium and you want to get people in. Yeah. You don't have to worry about making a break in the war, or not fighting that much because you can't afford to field hospital anymore. That would be great for like both sides, League and KVK.
And as someone who legitimately dropped between 20 to 30 days worth of speed ups each match just to make sure that you weren't performing at a subpar level, I would love to have those 150 plus days of speed ups back if that were the case. But you would be able to have those longer lasting fights if you just somehow found a way to take away that incentive of not showing up.
Okay, so I'll get into mine because mine will kind of dive into what y'all are talking about right now. So first and foremost, this is my biggest pet peeve. I do agree with Anubis on the rule changes. That's probably my second one. My first one, all right, and I don't know, maybe it was Anubis's experience, and I know he brought it up earlier. I don't know why, but I felt like prior to top 32 this season, I felt like it was the most watered down field that I think I've ever experienced in Rise of Kingdoms. And it's not, and what I mean by watered down, guys, is we kept analytics. I specifically kept track of how many teams were under a certain amount of power due to when they locked registration. And almost over half of the teams that registered, that qualified, were under 300 million power. Okay. And that to me is unacceptable, right? Because at the end of the day, guys, Osiris League is the best of the best. Yes. Do you want, like in the NCAA and in college football, you have what they call like a tune-up game where you play against trash cans and basically, you know, let's be realistic, right? But you shouldn't have an entire rotation of trash cans before you get to actual gameplay, right? There were a couple of one-off divisions that did have a couple of big boy teams in there that then we kind of got something there. I just don't like the idea of that many teams under 300 million power competing against an OV at 5 billion power. It just doesn't make any sense. And you know, I'm all for younger teams. I'm all for it, right? I want everyone to be able to experience the game, but the game needs to be experienced in different levels for different people. And that's what I've reiterated over and over and over again. Right now in regular Ark, we have a gold and a silver division. There is no freaking reason why we shouldn't have a gold Osiris League and have a silver. That way all these 300 million power teams get tucked away over here. We get our big boy. You could literally combine the registrations from Anubis and Horus and eliminate all the 300 million teams, and that would have filled 512 teams. And now that would be an Osiris League to remember. And that's the part that I just want to get across is I'm all for people playing the game. I don't want to eliminate anybody's ability to enjoy this game mode that I truly love, right? And we all love. That's why we're here. But at the same token, the more you keep watering down the game mode, the more likely people just aren't going to take it fucking serious. And that's all it's doing. You know what I mean? People prioritize KVK because guess what? KVK is all inclusive. It includes your entire kingdom. The rewards are, well, let's be realistic. The rewards are absolute dog shit for what you you invest into it. And so that should tell you that should get the wheels turning. We won't talk about that right now, but get the wheels turning. If people are willing to melt their fucking account for shit ass rewards instead of invest into something that they could potentially benefit their account greatly, there's a disconnect there. And I do get the idea of you want rewards for your entire kingdom. I do get that part. Okay. But I don't like the idea of watering down the tournament. That is one of the biggest things. I feel like they need to rework the format in order to make it, I don't care if we do it in tiers, right? We do champions division, we do gold division, we do silver, we do bronze, and then we tier off the rewards. We brought it back last season. That was a suggestion we brought. But you get those top registered teams. Right now we don't have a ladder system, so I can't say the top ranking 512 teams. I wish I could, right? There should be. We already have that fucking shit in Olympia. We have that shit, you know, I'm fairly confident we're going to get it in boats probably. It's happening everywhere except for the league, and that's the problem. Is it needs to get introduced. That way we can split everything off, tier off the rewards. That way if you win the Champions League, you are getting this, and it is way better than if you were in bronze. And that's the part that I don't like. I feel like there's too many teams, and so it dives into my second part. Too many teams are diving backwards in order to get easy rewards for Osiris League. That is clearly happening. It's still happening. I know that they're going to adjust migrations and all that kind of shit, but you're literally having people dodge people in order to have an easier path to success, whether it's in throwing matches or whether it's in dodging brackets or if it's in dodging realms entirely. That's something that has to get taken into account, whether it's hiding stuff or whatever. We won't dive down that rabbit hole. And then the first, and this is kind of I would add the rule changes that Anubis said. And then the third and last thing that I will say that I want to see changed is, guys, we just need to, I know that it's a pay to win game, but it's like, I want to compare it to League of Legends, right? I'm not an avid player of it, but I know we have a lot of people who play League of Legends in here. Imagine having a character pool that is not equal to your competitor, right? And you're going up in a game mode with a stacked deck on either your side or somebody else's side. Some champions that aren't viable for you, that you can't select, you can't choose, you can't, like, if you want to see the best of the best, guess what? You stack them up, even Steven, let them go to battle, and then we will see who is the best of the best. We're not going to hear complaining about troops. We're not going to hear complaining about fucking equipment. We're not going to hear complaining about anything. The only thing you can complain about is getting your cheeks clapped. And I had to throw it in there at least one time. Because at the end of the day, guys, if you want to take it, it's hard to say you were the best without somebody coming back saying, well, they spend the most. And that's the problem that is with the Osiris League right now that still has not gotten fixed. You can't say one without the other right now with somebody coming and saying the other. All right. All right. We will end the show with this last question. This is probably the most important question, and this is why I ask it at the very end, because it allows y'all the opportunity as panelists to voice your opinions on things that you want seen in the game. We're going to limit it to top 5 things if you have 5. If you have less than 5, then don't worry about it. You just want to add a little something to it, then you can. But top 5 things that you want to see added to next season of Osiris League. We're going to start off with let's start off with Anubis.
I'm just going to keep it to 1 because I think for the most part we're hitting a lot of these points ahead of time. Mm-hmm. My number 1 thing that I would love to see would be once the finals are over, I'd love to see Lilith just go in and even if they don't add new skills, change the points that the skills are costing. You can flip a meta on its head simply by changing the cost of points, and everybody's strategies are going to be vastly different. I think we've had a couple seasons with this setup, and as Skywalker said, there are times where it feels like it's just cookie cutter. You're going to have your innovations that do pop up, but for the most part, teams are watching film, they're emulating things that did well against them, so over time, people become closer and closer together, and it's just who executes the same plan better. But if you throw that wrench into the mix and say, okay, well, these things that were costing 5 may now be 4, these that were costing 2 may now be 3, or, hey, well, now all of a sudden that healing skill, the time frame that you can use it, maybe someone uses a healing skill in the beginning, and by the last arc, they can use it again, simply because of the cooldown timer. Some sort of changes with the skills would bring some additional freshness to this game mode, but if they do it, it needs to be implemented in time for teams to actually run some arcs with it and not waiting until the tournament to make those changes. Because if they made these changes, I'm going to be brutally honest, not a single player in this game would ever bet that they would make those changes before a tournament. They would always expect these changes to come mid-tournament. So I'd love to see them, but have it happen in time for teams to actually implement it and run those new strategies before the next tournament comes around.
Okay. Paulinaaa, what would you like to see?
A part of, as I mentioned before, more levels of League itself. The game mode to me is really good, so I don't think it really requires many amendments. However, if amendments are made, they should be done far in advance before the next league starts.
Okay, I like that. All right, Sinneth, you're up.
I think I still would like to have some like invitational rules set up for the whole league, or at least for the top 32. That's what I would love to see. because then you would actually see the best team surviving. And yeah, I think that would be a good change.
Skywalker?
But I also understood why Lilith isn't doing it.
Why do you think they're not doing it?
They are not doing it because, of course, they are a company and they want to earn some money. And of course, they're earning a lot by implementing new stuff during League. Because all the League teams will spend like crazy to keep an edge over the competition. And that's most likely the reason why we won't see a system like that. But overall, I think if they actually want to call it League and make it competitive, that's the way to go.
Okay. Skywalker?
Yep. So I'm going to try to make this quick. I want to see that the best thing to make this game a lot better, in my opinion, is one, make the Osiris League set up to be exactly like he was saying, like it is in the Invitationals. And I still think that they can make their money because it's going to bring in a lot more player draw. Because imagine, you know, all of us streamers being able to put out that content that, hey, this is a game mode that's literally a free-to-play game mode. There is no pay-to-win factor in this game mode.
Yeah.
It's going to bring in a huge player base to the game itself. And then the second thing is to touch up what your first statement on what you were complaining about for it being watered down. I honestly think that it's perfectly fine having it on the realms that it is and having the rules in place that they have in place. But if you set it up as invitationals, then I think every kingdom should be in one bracket because it's not needed. Every kingdom has the gear, the commanders, all that. But if it is as it is, all they need to do is use the tracking system that's in place for Osiris League right now, and just do it on the off season. Just track all these teams, that way you can better match them before the top 32, and it gets interesting beginning matchups. You don't have OV fighting a 500 million power team, and don't let Silver League teams register for Osiris League. Because that's a huge issue. Why can Silver League teams register for Osiris League? They can't even register for normal Arks. But yeah, that's my two biggest things that I think they should fix. Make the game so much better for Osiris League.
So my first one, and this kind of barely touches into kind of what I previously said that I didn't like, right? I want them to separate this out. Like I know Sky brought this up as well. I want this as a whole separate thing, right? I think the Osiris League has potential to rival KVK. And I know that sounds insane to a lot of people, right? But there is a lot of potential to make money in this. And what I've always advised is don't chase pennies, you know, to not be able to get dollars, right? Right now, I feel like they're chasing pennies, right? And the reason I say that is because the game mode is so limited around, okay, we have to introduce a new commander, like everyone keeps saying, in order for them to make money and do this. Guys, there's so many different ways of monetizing this. If you were to have, and I'll tell you this right off the rip, I've already said it multiple times, if they had this as its own separate game mode, that then we could set up custom matches. You can invite people. Say we set up a chat similar to like Soroli, where we all jump into the one fucking game. We have our own chats. We have our own thing, and we can battle it out in a custom match. We can make tournaments for it. We can have our own freaking Osiris League if we wanted to, right? As a community, we could schedule it out. We could do register. You can build this out as big as you want to, but it is locked so tight right now that there is nothing that you can realistically do with it. So being able to separate it out as its own game mode, add in a custom feature that will allow us to practice. Not only that, it opens it up for practicing with other teams that aren't in your kingdom, right? Because at this point, you're just inviting everybody to a chat that then invites them to a game, so on and so forth. I don't like the idea of locking it down. I want them to unlock the potential of this. And right now, it's super locked down, okay? So that is what I would love to see. Secondly, the rewards, while they did increase them, let's be realistic, guys. You know what I mean? Like, you're investing, 3 months of time into this? That's just in showing up. That's not in practices and in all the efforts that you put in. For 4 people to have city skins and or 4 teams, I don't know. The rewards just don't stack up. Okay. So I want to see them consistently try to keep growing it. I think that they will. I don't think it's going to be anything astronomically compared to what a huge jump, but at least keep it, trying to increase it, make it more beneficial, because there's a lot of things that this counteracts, that if you add better rewards, people are going to start double questioning, whether we're just not going to no show. You know what I mean? It's just not you don't want to water it down. I always say that. Okay. And then three,
if they did,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, if they did split it for like the way normal Ark is, a gold and a silver, you could get more participation out of those. You could get a gold Ark League going on, and as that one is coming to a close, your silver can start and stretch out your content if you're looking to grow your brand and create something that way. And if you wanted to structure rewards based upon that, you could even extend it from top 4 to top 8 or top 16 of your gold league being your legendary skins, and your silver leagues competing for your epic skins, because those are the smaller teams.
Exactly.
And they're going to get something special out of it. And it also would then incentivize those smaller teams to try to get up to that gold league, try to get that recruiting going. We want access to those bigger skins, but we can't compete there yet. So why are we going to register? Well, if you have a smaller league with still quality rewards that, don't get me wrong, there's never a point in time that someone in a silver league should be getting a legendary skin over a team that made playoffs in a gold league who's now getting an epic. That should never happen. But if you tier the rewards based upon the league that you're in, not only can you grow your brand, create more content, but also incentivize growth of the smaller and younger teams to try to get up there as well.
Yeah. And that's and when we say that, guys, it's not because I'm trying to talk down to Sobek teams and talk down to, it's not that. What you want, though, as a competitor is you want to compete against the best. But you shouldn't have your best team from your most competitive realm getting the same rewards as a team that maybe had 2 competitive matches, 3 competitive matches, and they were at the tail end of the entire 3-month league. There's no reason why that should happen. Okay, so tiering off rewards, doing stuff like that, I think is going to incentivize. It's going to only add more benefit to it. And 3, what I want to see is I want to see caster tools. I know this sounds really dumb, and maybe it's not just caster tools. I really, really am passionate. They already have the numbers. I promise y'all, everything that some of our panelists have said are already in effect, guys. They just don't pull them. So if you're asking about tracking outside of Osiris League, it already happens. Okay. If you're complaining about, oh, well, they can't remove VIP from, guys, they can. And I'm telling you, they can. Okay. It's not me trying to boast about it. I'm telling you, one of the biggest things that people complained about, and we brought it up last season, right? The Invitational, when everyone was like, oh, the VIP. They came back and told us, yes, we understand. We are making adjustments. So we should see that adjustment this season, okay, in the Invitational. It is not in the regular, which comes back to a whole other can of worms, right? But there is ability to do that, where you can make a game mode where you don't have VIP effect, you don't have equipment effect, they do it in all other events, guys. You know what I mean? You can do that, and it's not whether they can or can't. They can do whatever they want. They keep track of stats for, like, I'll give you an example, right? I told them, I want to do a video with this and this and this. I would love to know what the top 5 marches that are getting used in this KVK are right now. They can pull that data. They can easily pull that data, right? Where they tell me, oh, the Guan Leo has gotten used 1 million times in the last 30 days. They can pull, it's just about getting the data, right? So don't ever, trust me, I promise you, when it comes to data, we are good. When it comes to setting it up, that's a whole other story. So yes, it can happen. I do want to see it happen, because at the end of the day, all of us as planners, you don't want to feel like the deck is stacked. You know, I know we all like an underdog, but an underdog coming out swinging, is just that. So I want to see the most competitive matches early and often, and as long as I humanly possibly can, because guess what? It's going to increase your money. It's going to increase your viewership. It's going to increase the ability for content creators to be able to stream your content. And for God fucking sakes, please pick some better fucking time slots. Holy shit. The fact that we have 0 matches at 19 UTC this week is absolutely stupid. They're all at 13 UTC this weekend for the most part, and a couple of 15. that kills viewership because then you can't actually see it. So spread them out, baby. Change your algorithm up. Spread it 13, 15, 17, 9. I don't give a shit. But that way you can get more coverage, more eyeballs on your content, because I can tell you right now, the numbers that we're seeing are just stupid. And the fact that I feel like we're getting shackled because of time slots is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so fix the freaking time slots, baby. Fix them. Okay, final thoughts before we head out, panel. I do appreciate y'all's time. Let's go ahead and start off with Miss Paulinaaa. That way we can let you get to eating.
Thank you very much for having me here. And I think half of my dinner is already gone, so I'm all right.
All right. Well, I appreciate you joining us, Miss Paulinaaa. All right, Sinneth, you're up, brother.
Yeah, thanks for the invite as well. It was great to see some of your or to hear some of your opinions and exchange a bit about these topics. And yeah, looking forward to the next summit.
Yeah, maybe a KVK summit. Maybe we'll. All right. Well, I appreciate it. You go have fun at your friend's birthday thing, bro. Don't get too wild. I know. Wild and free. Wild and free. All right. Sky walking.
This was it was good meeting. I just hope Lilith actually listens to it, dude. Like I hope we can get some updates in this game. Osiris League is a huge draw to this game, and it's a insanely fun game mode and very, very fun to watch and interesting. I just hope they fix all these issues they have with it.
I hear you,
That's
bro.
it.
All right, Anubis.
I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not talking about myself because I know the comment would come out as soon as I say the sex part. I would love for any team who is looking to get better and does not have a top tier planner or planning group to, when they are recruiting for people to come to their servers, to consider looking at known Ark planners, right? You're not going to get someone away from OV unless they're trying to leave the server. But the one thing I never see and never hear about is teams, when they go recruit, actively reaching out to people who are known to be Ark planners. Mm-hmm. Your team could simply be a good mind away from making playoffs. You can have all the best players in the world, but if you don't have a good plan put into place, power isn't going to overcome strategy come a certain point. So if you're looking to have the smallest impact on your KVK with the largest impact on your kingdom's Ark performance, consider actively recruiting quality planners, and you can recruit all the power you want for KVK and have the best of both worlds.
I like that. I feel like Anubis is talking about WIB. Bro, fucking Skywalker, bro. Dang. Hard flex. And guys, I appreciate all y'all hopping on the panel today. I'm going to let y'all go. That way y'all can enjoy your day. But I truly do appreciate it, and look forward to a couple of, what do we have, like 4 or 5 more Bulba Battalion episodes. So I hope y'all are enjoyed the panel. I'm going to let y'all go. That way y'all can enjoy the rest of your day. But I do appreciate y'all's time.
Have a good one. We'll talk to you later.
All right, bro.
Yep. See you later, bud.
See you.
All right, boys and girls. Give me 1 second. Let me flip over to the full cam. I hope y'all enjoyed the Ark Planners Summit. I know we talked about quite a bit of things. First and foremost, make sure if y'all have any suggestions, anything like that, leave them in the comments below. Ping me on Discord, do whatever, that kind of stuff. I do this for the community. That way our community managers, all that, will have something to spectate and look at and hear kind of voices and opinions on people that are actively spending a lot of time in this specific event. I would love to do this in maybe a KVK format and whatever y'all think would be cool. I always like little jabby jabs, you know what I mean? I don't want it to get full toxic if we do a KVK one. But understanding, there's nobody who's done it. There's nobody who's done it for KVK. And I'm very interested to hear what people's opinions are, because there's a lot of things that we talked about in Osiris League. same concepts will cross over with KVK, just on a way larger scale. So if that's something y'all are interested in, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll look at it. Maybe we'll see if we can get some big boy names in there as well. Some big boy fighters. Maybe I'll try to scoop in some MF or some Lambo. I know Lambo wanted to join us but had a birthday to attend. So, and it's okay. It's perfectly all right. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I feel like Anubis, Osiris League sucks. Always comes in the middle of KVK and people are zeroed. Yeah, I understand that totally, Mars. We definitely have to do a KVK summit. That would be fun. Always also old players have the commanders to compete where the new ones don't. See, Mars, we didn't even bring that up, and that's something that is a whole conversation in itself, that people don't understand. The teams in Bastet, some of those younger teams got absolutely railed by when they changed the rules, and it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. They got railed by the new when they unlocked the Season of Conquest, all that kind of stuff. So you're going to see stuff, some weird shit happening. When you review this live stream, please add a trash can city skin. All right, Siju. Yeah, we'll definitely, let's get something in the works. Maybe we'll do it. You know, shoot the shit. Maybe we'll do it in the next big KVK. I don't know if I'm going to be able to view it because it's going to have fog. And I'm no Fleisch and I'm no Wick, so I don't think I'm going to get a loaner account to go and view it. But as soon as the fog goes away, we will cast, we will view, do all that kind of stuff. But until then, don't forget, tomorrow we are going to be casting on the official Rise of Kingdoms channel. Go check those out. We are going to be casting over PX34 versus JST at 13 UTC. And then I believe they're doing Song versus OV at 15 UTC, if I remember correctly. I will be with Drago at 13 UTC. 15 will be Drago and Chiskel. So go and hang out. Make sure if you're part of the Burrito Gang, go drop in the hashtag Burrito Gang when you join the chat. I always love seeing that. It makes me happy. And make sure, if y'all haven't already, don't forget, 2 hours left, boys. 2 hours. If you haven't joined the... Thank you, Gecko. Oh man, boy, I miss you, bro. I've been wanting to chat with you forever, brother. Don't forget. Hold on, I'm gonna put the link in here. Website. If you haven't gone and done it already, the Madness tournament closes in an hour and 45 minutes. That registration will lock, and you can no longer submit your bracket. So hop on the website. If you don't know where you're going, go watch the video that we made where it was like my bets are better, and I basically show you how to register, log in, do all that, submit your brackets, because in an hour and 45 minutes it will lock. I don't know, let me check on stream real quick. Give me 1 second. We have, how many submissions do we have? The odds should be really good. Last season I think we had like 33, 34, and we actually have quite a bit people registered. The difference is I don't know how many actually submitted brackets, and I tried to ping everybody. I'll probably ping everybody here after this stream is done. Let me see. Here's Anubis Realm. I'll open Horus Realm. We have 2 pages. So Anubis, we have 17 entries. And for Horus, we have 18 entries. Here, if y'all want to see them, here are the entries. See real quick. I'll go full in-game real quick. Oh, it's not going to bring it up over here, is it? Here. So the entries are right here. Here are the brackets. You have to be a registered user in order to see all of them. Brackets, you basically click submit bracket, click, and then it will start bringing up the opponents, and you go click, 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 click all the way through. We will have prediction rankings. So when a team wins, loses, you're going to get points based on the round and how many points. So go and register. You don't have very much time. You got an hour and 45 minutes left before it shuts off. And then we have the Horus Realm here as well. Okay, so go and hang out. Have a good old time. And if you have questions or issues, let me know. And then I will ping me on Discord, and then I will try to help you as much as I can. So good to see my Gecko, bro. Gecko, has been such a long time, my friend. Yeah, see? That's good, man. That's love. That's family. That's community right there. That's what I love to see in the chat. Look how far they have come. Now the graphics are set. There's a countdown music back then. I did it all. Yeah, look at Gecko. I like it. Yeah, we miss Gecko. I miss him for sure, bro. Hopefully we'll see him soon on a stream because I've been itching. I've been itching for some liver wars. But I hope y'all as excited as I am. I hope y'all enjoyed the stream. Don't forget, go and register if you haven't already. And yeah, guys, we'll be on tomorrow, and then we're gonna be trying to do some epic videos coming out soon. I know that y'all want them. I keep getting requested over and over again, so I will do them. They just take a little bit longer, so keep your eyes out. I hope y'all appreciated the stream, the cast. Thank you again to our panelists. I hope y'all have a fantastic rest of your day. And Burrito Gang, I am Anthony with the Bulbaritos, and I will see you all on the next live stream. Bulba out.